Chapter 1362. This character is a woman with a child. For the sake of her child, she becomes a demon. The other character is crazy for love. Sister May had known Mu Axayan for so long, but she had never seen Mu Axayan dating a man. She felt that Mu Axayan was a mother, and she should be able to act as a demon for her son. In real life, she was as tired as a dog because of Mu Xiao. Ban Jianing took the character she had chosen and looked at it. He asked calmly, "Why is she suitable for this role?" Mu Axayan loved Qing Junghua so much. She had a miscarriage for him and cried for him. Shouldn't she be more suitable for the role of a woman who goes crazy for love? She had never had a child before. How can she act as a demon for her son? Ban Jianing had chosen these two roles for Mu Axayan because the costumes were not revealing, and there were no sex scenes or kissing scenes. Mu Axayan was not suitable for the roles of the first female lead, second female lead, third female lead, and unimportant maids. This was a large-scale Xuanhuan drama, and the first female lead, second female lead, and third female lead had important scenes. There were many sex and kissing scenes. Mu Axayan had never acted in a good role before. The audience might not be able to accept such an important role, and they might attack her on the internet. Ban Jianing does not want this to happen. As for those maids, they have less screen time and cannot show their faces in front of the audience. The production crew will not notice their potential. The two roles Feng Yu had chosen were not important, but if they acted well, they will leave a good impression on the audience. Ban Jianing had decided to let Sister May be Mu Axayan's manager. Managers know better than him what roles they are suitable for. Ban Jianing felt that the role of a woman who goes crazy for love was more suitable for Mu Axayan. He felt that Mu Axayan would bring her love for Qing Junghua into this role, and this will move the audience. But Sister May had chosen the role of a 30-year-old woman who had become a mother for Mu Axayan. Ban Jianing doubted Sister May's understanding of Mu Axayan. She was close to Mu Axayan, and shouldn't she know about her life? President Ban, Mu Axayan's situation is similar to all eyes. Both of them were abandoned by their beloved men after giving birth. Sister May said. "What?" Ban Jianing's eyes narrowed, and he stared at Sister May. "What did you say?" Mu Axayan gave birth to a child. Sister May was shocked by Ban Jianing's cold gaze. Could it be that she shouldn't have told the boss that Mu Xin had a child out of wedlock? However, she felt that she shouldn't hide it from her boss. It was better to confess to the boss before Mu Xin hung. Otherwise, if Mu Xin became famous and was exposed, the media would report it wantonly. It would affect Mu Xin's reputation. At that time, it would be too late if boss blamed her for hiding the fact that Mu Xin was a single mother. Everything would be too late. She would be too late, and so would Mu Xin. Big Sister May looked at Ban Jianing cautiously and asked, "Boss Ban, are you trying to support Mu Xin?" Although Mu Xin was a mother, her figure was as good as Lin Ruoruo's, and her looks were even better than Lin Ruoruo's. Big Sister May felt that if the boss wanted to promote Mu Xin would definitely be more popular than Lin Ruoruo. Yes. Ban Jianing tried his best to calm himself down. He suppressed the shock in his heart and looked indifferently at Sister May. "Tell me, is Mu Xin worthy of praise? Has Mr. Ban seen Mu Axayan in person?" Chapter 1363. Yes. Not only did he see her, he even kissed her. "President Ban, I'm really happy for Mu Xin that you can promote her. She has been in this industry for a long time and is often suppressed. She also refuses to accompany the director to drink." Sister May saw that Ban Jianing's face was as black as the bottom of a pot and his eyes were as cold as ice. She didn't dare to continue and went to the main point. "I'm worried that after Mu Xin becomes famous, the news of her having a child out of wedlock will be dug out and it will turn into a scandal. Wouldn't that make Mushin fall from the peak? It's better to let her live a peaceful life now and play a minor role. How do you know that Mushin has a child out of wedlock? I live in the same neighborhood as her. She's not from a city, she's from M-City. We won't tell outsiders that Mushin is an unmarried mother. But you might not be. You're the big boss. When Mushin returned to M-City, she didn't even bring Mushao back. She said that none of her family or friends know that she's a mother. Continue. President Ban, I'll tell you about Mushin in detail. When Mushin moved into the neighborhood, she was already pregnant. I saw that she went in and out alone and had never seen the child's father. Moreover, she lived next door to me, so I took the initiative to talk to her. After we got to know each other, she told me that she was an abandoned woman and that she had quarreled with her only brother. That was why she came to a city to live. The more important reason why she came to a city was that she didn't want the child's father to know about Mu Zhao's existence. She said that the child's father already had a woman. She didn't want Mu Xiao to be snatched away by the child's father and let Mu Xiao live with a stepmother. Therefore, she kept it from her family. She said that if her family knew about Mu Xiao's father would definitely know about Mu Xiao too. She didn't want to affect the child's father's family and didn't want the child's father to disturb her and Mu Xiao's life. Mu Xiao. Mushin's child. After Ban Jianing heard this, he was shocked. Mushin actually gave birth to Qing Junguo's child, and Qing Junguo had another woman. When Qing Junguo was dating Mushin, he had been two-timing. After breaking up with Mushin, would he have another woman? That stupid woman. What was so good about Qing Junguo that make her love him so much? Now, she had even given birth to his child. Damn it. Big Sister Mei nodded. Yes, Mu Xiao is very obedient. He's smarter than most children his age. He's also very gentlemanly. I like him very much. Speaking of Mu Xiao, Big Sister Mei couldn't help but think of Mu Xiao's small figure. Her gaze softened. Ban Jianing was expressionless. She must have had a hard time raising a child all these years, right? Bitter. Elder Sister Mei thought of Mushin's life these past few years and sighed with emotion. I thought my life was bitter enough, but her life was even more bitter than mine. At least I have an elder sister. When I'm tired, I'll go to my elder sister and cry. Mu Axayan was tired, so she could only shut herself in her room and cry. Which abandoned woman isn't pitiful? Mu Axayan even has a child. When she gave birth to Mu Xiao, I was on set, so I didn't know. When I found out that she was hospitalized, I rushed to the hospital and the child was already born. The new mother with Mushin also gave birth to a son like her, but her husband, mother-in-law, parents, and the others all took care of the new mother in the ward like she was a treasure. Only Mu Axayan's place was deserted. When it was time to eat, she would still order takeout. One side of the new mother was bustling with activity, while the other side was deserted. The other side's mother-in-law looked at Mushin with a gaze. When I entered the ward and saw this situation, my heart ached. I couldn't help but cry. CEO Ban, I'm sorry. I said too much. I'm sorry. Chapter 1364. Seeing that Ban Jianing's face was so cold that it couldn't get any colder, Sister Mei realized that she had said too much and quickly apologized to Ban Jianing. Shut up. Ban Jianing looked at Sister Mei coldly with mixed feelings. At the same time, he was shocked. All these years, Mushin's life had been so tough. And all these were given to her by Qing Junguo. Thinking of Qing Junguo, Ban Jianing gritted his teeth in anger. His bloodthirsty gaze could kill. Seeing him like this, Sister Mei didn't dare to speak anymore. She didn't even dare to breathe. She looked at Ban Jianing carefully. She only told him the truth about Mushin's situation. Looking at his expression, could it be that she was wrong? She shouldn't have told him about Mushin. Ban Jianing didn't speak, so Sister May didn't dare to speak either. A chill crept up her spine. She felt the pressure in the air getting more and more obvious. It made her panic. Cold sweat appeared on Sister May's forehead. Ban Jianing's gloomy aura made people shudder. His noble and handsome face was frosty. Sitting there quietly, he looked like a deadly Azura coming out from the darkness. His narrowed eyes were long and narrow, cold, and emitted a cold light. It was scary. The more scary his appearance was, the more painful his heart was. If the person Mushin fell in love with was him, she wouldn't have to live such a tough life now. And she wouldn't be taken advantage of by the assistant director. Thinking of the assistant director, Zhang Qinghua, a cold look flashed past Ban Jianing's eyes. He looked up and glanced at her with a cold gaze. Sister May was so scared that her heart trembled. This movie will start shooting in 2 months. Tell Mushin to get ready. Sister May nodded blankly. Okay, quit your job as the script keeper. Sister May looked at Ban Jianing in shock. President Ban, I rely on this job for a living. Sign a contract with Star Entertainment and be your manager, Ban Jianing said coldly. What? Sister May couldn't stay calm. Manager? I don't have any experience in this area. You only have Mushin. Ban Jianing looked at Sister May. But I don't want Mushin to know that I'm helping her behind the scenes. You think of a way to get her into the cast of Golden Phoenix. You'll also have to think of a way to help her get jobs and sign a contract with Star Entertainment. Sister May was dumbfounded. She seemed to have sensed something. The boss was secretly helping Mushin. Big Sister May was puzzled. Could it be that the boss had fallen for Muaxian? Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows unhappily when he saw Sister May's dumbfounded expression. If you can't do this well, then don't stay in this circle anymore. Sister May broke out in cold sweat. Wasn't the boss trying to kill them all? Ban Jianing placed the script for a lie in front of Sister May. You can go back now. This. Sister May hurriedly took the script and looked at Ban Jianing carefully. President Ban, this movie will only start filming in 2 months. My job as the script editor, could he work for 2 months before quitting? That way, he could get 2 more months of salary. Ban Jianing ignored Sister May. His slender fingers pressed a few numbers on the phone on the table. Soon, a beeping sound was heard. Soon, a woman's gentle and sweet voice was heard. President Ban, what can I do for you? Get the HR department to prepare a form and contract for the manager. After you've passed it to the HR department, come in for a while, Ban Jianing said calmly to the phone. Okay, President Ban. About 2 minutes after he hung up, the secretary knocked on the door and gently pushed it open. Chapter 1365. Ban Jianing instructed his secretary, bring her to the HR department. From now on, she will be the manager of Star Entertainment Media's film department. Her salary will be 30,000 for now. Raise it after half a year. The secretary smiled at Sister May, indicating that he understood the boss's words. Sister May was stunned. 30,000 a month. Her salary in the production team was not high. Even after working so hard, she did not even get 10,000 a month. Now, she was getting 30,000. Even when Sister May walked out of Star Entertainment Media, she still could not believe that she had signed with Star Entertainment Media with a monthly salary of 30,000. After she realized the truth, she took the script and rushed to the production team to resign. When she returned to the production team, she saw the assistant director wailing. Originally, He and the director were going to film an urban drama called White Clouds Love the Sky after 3 Shots on a Horse had finished filming. Who knew that the investor of this drama would suddenly not invest? The difficult thing was that both parties had not signed the contract yet. If the investor suddenly decided not to invest, there was nothing they could do. The director was stunned. White Clouds Love the Sky was a big IP. It was adapted from a popular novel by a famous online author. This author had a shocking number of fans and urban dramas had high viewership ratings. It was very profitable. With some advertising placements, there would be a lot of money to be earned. If the investor did not invest, there would be insufficient funds. It would be difficult to film. If they could not film, it would be equivalent to breaking the contract and they would have to compensate the author. Sister May had no right to ask about the production team's matters. The job of a director was very complicated. Some directors would make a lot of money after directing a drama, while others would go bankrupt and lose money. Otherwise, wouldn't everyone be able to be a director? As 3 Shots on a Horse was about to finish filming, Sister May resigned from the director. However, she did not leave immediately. She would leave after this drama was finished. As she worked, she thought about how to tell Mu Axian the lie that she had helped her take on a drama. Recently, Mu Axian had been acting as a maid in a new drama. Acting as a maid was very tiring. After returning home, she lay on the sofa to rest. On Saturday, Mu Xiao did not need to go to kindergarten. He sat on the sofa and massaged Mu Axian's little feet. It's so comfortable. Mu Axian seemed to be enjoying it. I'm not strong enough, Mu Xiao said. Mu Xiao is only 4 years old. His fists are small and his strength is weak. Mommy, I will eat my meals obediently in the future. I have to eat a lot so that I have the strength to massage you. Okay, Mommy, I like you to eat more. To a mother, it was a mother's happiness. Watching her child eat and sleep filled her with motherly love. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. Mu Xiao raised his head and looked at Mu Axian. Is it Aunt May? Sister May had called Mu Xin today and told her that she would be in the neighborhood tonight. Then, she would treat the mother and son to a meal. I think so. Other than Sister May and the property manager, no one else had knocked on her door. Hearing that it was Sister May, Mu Xiao smiled and jumped off the sofa. I'll go open the door. I haven't seen Aunt May in a long time. Mu Xiao was small, so there was a peephole on the door, but he couldn't see it. He opened the door for the other party. When the door opened, she saw a tall, handsome man in a well-fitting suit standing at the door. Mu Xiao raised his head and looked suspiciously at this handsome and rich man. Hello, who are you looking for? Although this man looked cold, Mu Xiao felt that he was not a bad person. Since he looked so rich, it was impossible that he was here to cheat them of their money. Ban Jianing saw that the person who opened the door was a child. When he saw the child's face clearly, shock flashed through his eyes. It's him. Chapter 1366. The child he met at the porridge shop. Ban Jianing couldn't believe that he was Mu Xin and Qing Juingguo's child. I'm looking for your mommy, Ban Jianing said. Oh my God, this uncle's voice was very nice. Mu Xin, who was lying on the sofa, thought it was Sister May, but when she heard the voice, she jumped up from the sofa and stood there in a daze, looking over. Ban Jianing. Mu Xiao's eyes widened when he heard the name. He looked up at Ban Jianing. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Xin and didn't notice the shock in Mu Xiao's eyes. Mu Xiao sized up the man in front of him. He was his daddy. Yes, very handsome. He just couldn't understand. Why didn't Mommy cherish such a handsome man? Mommy had told him about her past. Even if this man was stupid, with this face and this body, it was fine to be with him. Besides, he was pretending to be stupid. Ban Jianing looked at Muxin, who was so shocked that her soul had left her body. Aren't you going to invite me in? Muxin was so frightened by his sudden appearance that her face turned pale. Why was he here? Muxin looked at Mu Xiao abruptly and realized that this kid was actually inviting Ban Jianing in very naturally. Uncle, please come in. Uncle, hearing this address, Muxin felt weird, but she couldn't pinpoint what was weird about it. However, Mu Xiao's calmness made Muxin's frightened heart calm down a little. She didn't know if Ban Jianing suddenly came to her house because he found out that Mu Xiao was his son. With his current ability, it wasn't difficult for him to investigate her. Otherwise, why would he suddenly come to her house? Muxin felt that Ban Jianing had a woman he loved and didn't like her as much as before. Ban Jianing took off his shoes and a pair of black socks appeared in Mu Xiao's vision. He raised his hand and patted Mu Xiao's head, smiling. Very polite. Then, he walked past Mu Xiao. Mu Xiao looked up and looked at Ban Jianing quietly. He didn't hate it when he patted his head. There was a very strange feeling that he couldn't describe. He pursed his lips and looked at Muxin. Muxin stood there in a daze, looking at Ban Jianing. Ban Jianing walked in and sat on the sofa naturally. She opened her legs slightly and leaned against the sofa lazily. His posture was relaxed, but it did not lose the majesty of a king. It was as if he was the master of this place. He raised his head and looked at Mu Xiao with interest. Surprised to see me? Why did you come here? Muxin asked directly. Was it to snatch Mu Xiao back? Mu Xiao closed the door and returned to the living room. He walked to the back of a sofa and stood there, using the back of the sofa to shield his body. His clear black eyes stared at Ban Jianing. Xian was as nervous as Mu Xiao. Ban Jianing, his purpose for coming here. Ban Jianing's lips curled up into a smile. However, there was no warmth in his eyes at all. Instead, there was a hidden pain. He looked at Mu Xiao. Only when he looked carefully did he notice the frost on her face. Those who had not experienced some hardships would not have such a weather-beaten face. He retracted his gaze and slowly looked around the room. There was a living room and 2 bedrooms. The space was not big, and the furniture was simple. However, every corner of the house was tidy and clean. Even the floor was polished until it was shiny and spotless. As he looked around the room, his gaze met Mu Xiao, who was standing behind the sofa. Looking at him, Ban Jianing's heart palpitated slightly. Chapter 1367. He looked at Mu Xiao, and Mu Xiao looked back at him. Mu Xiao's face was as fair as a jade. His eyes were clear, dark, and full of vigor. It was a pair of very bright and clean eyes. His temperament was very good. Although Mu Xiao led a very tough life, Mu Xiao's clothes were not worse than other children's. His every move exuded a noble and elegant temperament. His skin was fair and pink. Ban Jianing actually had the urge to go forward and pinch his face. Ban Jianing really liked this side of Mu Xiao. This child was cute and handsome. Who wouldn't like a cute and handsome child? But when he thought that he was Qing Juingguo's child, Ban Jianing felt very upset. It was as if he had swallowed a fly. The sharp Mu Xiao saw Ban Jianing's emotions from the slight change in his gaze. Mu Xiao secretly heaved a sigh of relief. The way this man looked at him was completely different from the way a father looked at a child. He definitely didn't know that he was his flesh and blood. He wouldn't snatch him back. Where's your father? Ban Jianing looked at Mu Xiao and asked. When he finished asking, he secretly laughed at himself. Wasn't this question superfluous? Didn't Sister May say that Mu Axayan had hidden the fact that she had a son from all her family and friends? Ching Junhua didn't know of his existence. Mu Axayan was stunned and looked at Ban Jianing in a daze. His purpose of coming here wasn't because of Mu Xiao. Phew, she heaved a sigh of relief. Mu Xiao answered Ban Jianing sensibly, father is married to another woman. Ban Jianing put his hands on the back of the sofa and looked at Mu Axayan with interest. Didn't Ching Junhua come to a city to develop his career? My sister said that he's not married yet. Ha! Mu Axayan was stunned again. Ching Junhua. Why did this man mention Ching Junhua all of a sudden? A year ago, Ching Junhua still contacted her and wanted to get back together with her, but she rejected him. This year, they hadn't contacted each other. Because of her busy life, she only had Mu Xiao in her heart. If Ban Jianing didn't mention Ching Junhua, Mu Axayan would have forgotten that she had a relationship with him. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Axayan. Ching Junhua isn't married. What did Ching Junhua's marriage have to do with her? Mu Axayan thought for a long time and finally figured out one thing. Ban Jianing thought that Mu Xiao belonged to Ching Junhua. Oh, shit. This was good too. At least Ban Jianing would not fight with her for Mu Xiao. Mu Xin finally relaxed as she brewed tea for Ban Jianing. She placed the tea on the coffee table in front of him and said with a smile, whether he is married or not has nothing to do with me. Ban Jianing glanced at the tea and then looked up at her deeply. You don't love him anymore. Mu Axayan sat down in front of Ban Jianing and beckoned to Mu Xiao. Mu Xiao came over and threw himself into her arms. Mu Axayan hugged Mu Xiao and smiled at Ban Jianing. The one I love the most now is my son. Ban Jianing looked at the mother and son and muttered, if Ching Junhua knew about Mu Xiao's existence, perhaps your life wouldn't be so bitter. Nanny. Mu Xiao's heart was hurt. He actually said that he was Ching Junhua's son. Ching Junhua. Mu Xiao knew about him. Mu Axayan told him frankly that he was mommy's first love. However, he wasn't Ching Junhua's son. He was Ban Jianing's son. Could this Ban Jianing be any more stupid? Forget it, forget it. Mu Xiao forgave him. Who asked him to be dead drunk that night? Mu Axayan smiled nonchalantly. Jianing, I have no feelings for Ching Junhua anymore. Don't mention him in front of me in the future. Chapter 1368. Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows slightly. He looked at Mu Xin silently for a while before nodding. Got it. I won't mention it in the future. On the way here, Ban Jianing had investigated Ching Junhua's situation. Ever since the Qing family fell and Qing Jianping died in prison, Qing Junhua left the Qing family and went on his own. Other than hurting Mu Xin when he was dating her, Qing Junhua didn't do anything evil. He didn't do anything outrageous, so he left the Qing family and started looking for a job. He was very smart and quick-witted. Soon, he became a manager in a company. He used his own strength to secure this position. In just a few years, he had his own house and car. The head office of M City opened a branch in a city, and he applied to be transferred to the branch. Because it was a branch, they had to expand the market here. Qing Junhua was the manager of the marketing department. With his intelligence, the branch's performance was almost catching up with the head office. The CEO of the company liked this young man very much. Ban Jianing had investigated clearly. Qing Junhua didn't come to a city for Mu Xin. Now that he heard Mu Xin say that she had no feelings for Qing Junhua, Ban Jianing actually heaved a sigh of relief. Mu Xin looked at Ban Jianing. I hope you won't tell Sister Wuyo and my brother that I gave birth to Mu Xiao. Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows. Do you want to hide it from them forever? Mu Xin smiled. No. At least wait until Mu Xiao grows up. Ban Jianing seemed to understand Mu Xin's words. He nodded. Okay, I'll keep it a secret for you. Mu Xin smiled gratefully. Thank you, Jianing. Mu Xiao's cheeks were puffed up. He expressed that his feelings were very complicated. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Xin deeply. When he thought of Sister Mei telling him that no one took care of her in the ward when she gave birth to Mu Xiao, his heart ached. A few years had passed, and he would still feel sorry for her when she suffered. Just like back then, when she was abandoned by Qing Junhua and miscarried his child, when he saw her pale face lying in the hospital, he also felt sorry for her. Sigh, why was this feeling so deeply ingrained in his heart? Don't be so polite to me. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Xin deeply. We know each other and are in a foreign land. It's only right to take care of each other and help each other. Why did you come to my house today? I want to treat you to a meal, Ban Jianing said. Romantic restaurant. The name was romantic, and the decoration inside was also very romantic. There was even a violin to listen to. Ban Jianing ordered many dishes for Mu Axian and her son. Mu Xiao rarely ate at takeout places because it was expensive. Moreover, he liked to eat Mu Axian's cooking. Seeing so many dishes, he raised his eyes and looked at Ban Jianing quietly. Daddy is very rich, he ordered all the expensive dishes. In front of Ban Jianing, Mu Xiao was very quiet. Whatever Ban Jianing asked, he would answer. He never took the initiative to talk to Ban Jianing. Halfway through, Mu Axian went to the washroom. There were other guests around, but Mu Xiao felt that the atmosphere was very strange without his mother by his side. He looked at Ban Jianing quietly. Ban Jianing was eating elegantly. The way he ate was very noble, and it was obvious that he was a nobleman. Mu Xiao thought to himself, as expected of the CEO's bloodline. Feeling Mu Xiao's gaze, Ban Jianing raised his head and smiled at him. Mu Xiao, why are you staring at me like that? Mu Xiao puffed up his cheeks and said, You're very handsome. He was many times more handsome than those male celebrities she had seen on television. Chapter 1369. Ban Jianing chuckled softly. At this moment, his smile was very bright. Mu Xiao blinked. His eyes were bright. Daddy was even more handsome when he smiled. Why didn't Mommy like such a handsome man in the first place? That Qing Junhua. Was he more handsome than Daddy? If there was a chance, he would like to see who this Qing Junhua was. You like handsome men? Ban Jianing asked. Mu Xiao shook his head. I don't like handsome men. I only like you. It was a pity that he had another woman. Otherwise, he would have secretly told him that he was his son. Hearing this, Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows. At the same time, his heart skipped a beat. It was as if Mu Xiao's little hand had gently tugged at his heartstrings. He smiled at Mu Xiao. Why do you only like me? Mu Xiao pursed his lips. Because I'm pleasing to the eye. Is it because you don't like those people who are chasing after your mommy? Mu Xiao's little face was full of doubts. No, no one is chasing after my mommy. You don't even know if they are chasing after you. Maybe, but my mommy told me that she doesn't deserve love in this life. Ban Jianing smiled. Why? Mu Xiao spread his hands. Because of me. Because of me, she became an unmarried mother. When Ban Jianing heard this, his heart tightened. He hesitated for a moment. Maybe your father will accept you. Mu Xiao shook his head. No, even if he accepts me, he won't accept my mommy. He told my mommy personally that he has a woman he loves. Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows. Qing Junhua had a girlfriend. He didn't investigate this further. He wasn't interested. Do you want to live with Daddy? Ban Jianing asked mysteriously. No, I don't want to be separated from my mommy. I am her life, and she is also my life. Mu Xiao looked at Ban Jianing. So, don't separate me and mommy. Ban Jianing smiled and pushed a dessert in front of Mu Xiao. Eat more. Mu Xiao didn't like desserts. But when Ban Jianing pushed it over, he moved it over like a gentleman and smiled politely. Thank you, uncle. He seemed to have thought of something and looked up at Ban Jianing curiously. Uncle, what is your relationship with my mommy? What was their relationship? Ban Jianing thought for a moment and smiled. We're friends. Mu Xiao's eyes twinkled. You like my mommy? Ban Jianing elegantly took a tissue and wiped his mouth. Children shouldn't gossip about adults. I've read in books that there is no eternal friendship between men and women. Some books are just nonsense. Best friends of the opposite sex, do you understand? Are you best friends with my mommy? Ban Jianing smiled. No. He didn't want to be best friends with Mu Xin. Mu Xiao pursed his lips and asked, do you have children? Ban Jianing shook his head. Not yet. Mu Xiao thought to himself, she's married, but she doesn't have a child. Mu Xiao looked at Ban Jianing with bright eyes. Uncle, do you like me? When Ban Jianing heard this, his movements paused slightly. He looked at Mu Xiao. His eyes were clear and innocent. She looked at him expectantly, looking indescribably cute. Such an intelligent child. If he were his son, he would definitely like him very much. At the thought of Qing Juingguas, he didn't reject the flesh and blood of other men, but he hated the Qing family very much. Because the Qing family ruined his family and even hurt Song Wuyo. He hated everyone in the Qing family. Chapter 1370. He looked at Mu Xiao for a long time and thought a lot. In the end, he felt that Mu Xiao was innocent. He nodded. I like it. Although he said that he liked it, his tone was not as relaxed as before. However, Mu Xiao was very happy. Mommy had already told him about the hatred between the Qing family and the Ban family. Ban Jianing still liked him after suspecting that he was Qing Juinggua's child. This proved that Daddy really loved Mommy in the past. Sigh Mommy, you stupid woman. You don't want a good man and want Qing Juinggua. Now, the good man was snatched away by another woman. Mu Xiao really felt sorry for Mu Axian. Mu Xiao smiled elegantly. Thank you, uncle, for liking me. Seeing his innocent smile, Ban Jianing curled his lips. Sorry, can we sit here? At this moment, a woman came over with a little girl. The woman smiled at Ban Jianing. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Xiao with an interrogative gaze. Mu Xiao reached out and took Mu Axian's bag into his arms. They were almost done eating. He nodded at Ban Jianing, indicating that they could sit down. Ban Jianing looked around. At this time, there were many people in the restaurant. There were no seats. Ban Jianing nodded at the woman. Sit. The woman smiled at Ban Jianing politely. Thank you. After the woman and the little girl sat down, they immediately ordered the dishes. They sat beside Ban Jianing, and the little girl sat opposite Mu Xiao. Mu Xiao glanced at the washroom and thought, why isn't Mommy back yet? I hate eating this. The little girl suddenly grabbed a white bun and threw it at Mu Xiao. Mu Xiao saw something flying over and suddenly reached out to catch it. The bun was caught in his hand and deformed. The little girl pouted and glared at Mu Xiao angrily. Her mother looked at Mu Xiao in surprise. Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows. He was surprised at Mu Xiao's quick reaction and was unhappy with the little girl's behavior. Mu Xiao placed the bun back on the plate and said to the little girl, "If you don't like it, don't throw it away and don't throw it at people." Mu Xiao glanced at the little girl. "This is for us." The little girl said angrily, "Why don't you take it away? Why are you putting it in front of me?" Mu Xiao frowned. "You were the one who sat down." When the little girl heard this, she was so angry that her eyes turned red. She complained to the woman, "Mother, I don't want to sit here." When the woman saw that the little girl was about to cry, she hurriedly coaxed, "Baby, be good. Other than here, there are no other seats." Then, he glared at Mu Xiao. "Don't say anything." Then, she gently said to the little girl, "Baby, don't cry. Mommy will scold him for you." Mu Xiao was speechless. He picked up Muxin's bag and stood up. He said to Ban Jianing, "Uncle, I'm full." He looked up and saw that Mu Axian had returned from the bathroom. He walked towards Mu Axian. After settling the bill, they walked out of the restaurant. "It's still early. Do you want to walk around?" Ban Jianing asked Mu Axian and Mu Xiao. Actually, he wanted to spend more time with Mu Axian. When Mu Xiao heard this, his eyes flashed and a trace of craftiness flashed across his eyes. He held Muxin's hand and mumbled, "Mommy, my school bag is old. I want to buy a new one. Can you get me a new one?" Muxin nodded. I want to, but I'm tired." "Mommy, can you hug me?" Muxin nodded. "Okay. You're already so big and you still want Mommy to hug you." Ban Jianing picked Mu Xiao up with one hand and carried him in his arms. "Let me hug you." Chapter 1371. This. Mu Axian looked at Ban Jianing awkwardly. Mu Xiao had already grabbed Ban Jianing's collar with his two little hands and smiled at Mu Axian. When Mu Axian saw his smile, she instantly understood that this kid wanted Ban Jianing to hug him. Mu Axian suddenly felt a sense of danger. This kid seemed to like Ban Jianing a lot. "You did well just now," Ban Jianing said to Mu Xiao. He didn't throw tantrums like other kids his age and reacted quickly. Ban Jianing tilted his head and glanced at Mu Axian. She had taught her child well. Unfortunately, he couldn't help but think that Mu Xiao was Qing Juingguo's child. Mu Xiao shook his head modestly. "Uncle, you flatter me. What happened just now?" Mu Axian was puzzled. Ban Jianing was carrying Mu Xiao and she was walking beside him. Why did it feel like they were a family of three? Ban Jianing told Mu Axian what happened just now. Mu Axian looked at Mu Xiao with gratification. Her son was really great. They walked around the mall. Ban Jianing bought a few sets of new clothes, a school bag, and stationery for Mu Xiao. He also wanted to buy a few sets of clothes for Mu Axian, but Mu Axian refused. Mu Axian was still arrogant. Even if she was in trouble, she wouldn't easily accept charity from others. Ban Jianing didn't force her. After buying the things that Mu Xiao wanted, he sent them back to Spring Breeze neighborhood. After leaving Mu Axian's house, Ban Jianing sat in the car and didn't drive out of Spring Breeze neighborhood immediately. He sat in the car and held the steering wheel tightly with both hands. Because he used too much strength, his veins were bulging and his joints were clearly defined. His eyes were very deep and he seemed to be deep in thought. His mind was full of Mu Xiao. He carried him and shopped for a long time tonight. Strangely, he actually liked to carry that kid. He didn't hate the childish smell on him. In fact, he liked it very much. He was obviously Qing Juingguo's son. Why did he have such feelings for him and not reject him? Mu Axian didn't love Qing Juingguo anymore. She said that she didn't love Qing Juingguo anymore. Did that mean that she could accept him? After a long time, Ban Jianing started the car and left Spring Breeze neighborhood. When he returned to the villa, he called Zhang Jun over. Zhang Jun was his classmate who founded Star Entertainment with him in England. Now, they were brothers who worked together in the business world. He was the president of Star Entertainment, and Zhang Jun was the vice president. After Zhang Jun arrived, he accompanied Ban Jianing to drink. Ban Jianing told Zhang Jun about Mu Xian's situation. After listening, Zhang Jun seemed to be in deep thought. Do you really love that woman that much? Zhang Jun asked Ban Jianing as he leaned over the wine table. Nonsense. Ban Jianing leaned against the chair and sat lazily. Since you love her, why do you care about her son? Zhang Jun was puzzled. Qing Jianxin killed my parents, and Qing Jianping wants to kill my elder sister. There is a deep hatred between the two of us. This was what troubled Ban Jianing. Damn it, Muxin could have been pregnant with anyone else's child, but it had to be Qing Juingguo's. You just can't get over the hurdle in your heart. Zhang Jun was helpless. He swirled the wine in his glass. He couldn't help with this. Zhang Jun, if it were you, what would you do? Ban Jianing looked at Zhang Jun. If it were me, I would definitely accept them, Zhang Jun said straightforwardly. Ban Jianing narrowed his eyes. His long and narrow almond-shaped eyes emitted a terrifying cold light. When Zhang Jun saw this, he quickly sat up and said with a serious face, I'm telling the truth. If it were me, I wouldn't mind. Chapter 1372. Ban Jianing, the child is innocent. I think he doesn't want to get involved in the feud between the two of you. Ban Jianing, the Qing Juingguo you're talking about did hurt Muxin in the past, but he didn't get involved in this feud. Ban Jianing, in love, someone will definitely get hurt. Muxin has done so much for him. Needless to say, she's the one who got hurt. However, the child isn't wrong. Putting aside the Qing family, Qing Juingguo is at most a scumbag who hurt Muxin. It doesn't mean that you can't accept the child because you like Muxin. More importantly, didn't you say that Qing Juingguo doesn't know the child? Qing Juingguo doesn't know about the existence of the child. After you marry Muxin, you can announce to the public that the child is yours. Do you think Qing Juingguo is a fool? 5 years ago, he was with Muxin. If I'm not with Muxin, won't he be suspicious when he sees the child? Ban Jianing said coldly. Zhang Jun shrugged with a disapproving look. So what if he's suspicious? So what if he knows? Can he win against you? He can't win against me, but he'll definitely laugh at me for helping him raise his son. Fuck. Zhang Jun couldn't help but explode. Ban Jianing, in the end, you're mentally ill. You're the one who's mentally ill. It's all your idea. So what if Qing Juingguo laughs at you? I believe that the child is so sensible. He only loves you and not Qing Juingguo. When Ban Jianing heard that, Mu Zhao's words rang in his ears. I only like you. He said that he liked him. If you educate him, Qing Juingguo will regret not cherishing the mother and son back then. Ban Jianing glanced at Zhang Jun. So, you're saying so much to encourage me to pursue Muxin. Zhang Jun smiled. Don't you like her? If you like her, then pursue her. A man should be afraid of this and that. When you're no longer afraid, she might already have someone in her heart. If you don't pursue Muxin, you can accept Ruoruo. Ruoruo is a good girl. All these years, you've been single. Can you face her? Don't drag Ruoruo into this. I only treat her as a sister, Ban Jianing said impatiently. Zhang Jun smiled. But Ruoruo doesn't think so. I called you here tonight to drink with me. If it was about Lin Ruoruo, he would have kicked Zhang Jun out. You can't drink too much. Zhang Jun was still quite concerned about Ban Jennings' health. I know what I'm doing. I've always heard you nag about Mu Axian in England. After so many years, you still haven't won her over. Is this woman really that difficult to deal with? Zhang Jun suddenly wanted to see what kind of fairy Mu Axian was. I don't want to force it. If I did, Mu Xiao wouldn't be Qing Juinggua's son. He would be my son. You'll regret that you didn't use force. Jenning, don't be gentle to women when you should be rude. That seems to make sense. When you need to be rough, you can't be gentle. Ban Jianing raised his brows. He didn't know if his roughness would work on Muxin. You accepted a role for me. Muxin and Mu Xiao came to Sister May's house. Sister May told Muxin the good news. Muxin looked at Sister May in disbelief. Sister May said calmly, I helped you get the opportunity to audition. Whether or not they choose you in the end depends on your performance. When is the audition? Muxin asked. Chapter 1373. Next Wednesday. Are you free? Of course I am. Go back and read the script. I helped you get the role of All Lie. Mu Axian, don't be too nervous during the audition. It's just a small role. Let the director see who looks better and whose temperament is more suitable for the role. It's not as strict as the first or second female lead. Just relax, Sister May said. This was the backdoor that the boss gave her. The audition was just a formality. Whether Mu Axian's acting skills were good or not, she would be cast as All Lie. However, Sister May couldn't tell Mu Axian honestly that the boss had decided on this role. Mu Axian nodded. I will do my best. 3 spears on a horse is almost done. I am going to leave the set. Sister May hugged Mu Xiao and looked at him with a gentle gaze. Mu Xiao blinked when he heard that she was leaving the set. Aunt May, are you quitting? This was also what Mu Axian wanted to ask. Since Mu Xiao asked, Mu Axian didn't ask anymore. Mu Axian held the script and looked at Sister May in confusion. Why did she want to quit her job? Sister May smiled. I heard that Star Entertainment is hiring an agent. I want to apply. Agent? Mu Axian was surprised. But you don't have any experience as an agent. Sister May said casually, I have been in this industry for so many years. I know the process of being an agent. As long as I am hired, I believe I will be able to work quickly. Mu Axian smiled. Being an agent is good. It's more profitable than being a secretary. It won't be so tiring. Sister May looked at Mu Axian with a longing expression. If I become an agent, I will take on shows for you and support you. Mu Axian appreciated Sister May's kindness. You will be an agent of Star Entertainment. It won't be suitable for you to support me. You can sign with Star Entertainment. Mu Axian was stunned. Sign with Star Entertainment. Wasn't that Ban Jennings' company? Ban Jianing, would he want her? Actually, Mu Axian wasn't greedy. She never thought that she would become famous. After leaving Sister May's place, Mu Axian went home to read the script. She really liked the role that Sister May had helped her to audition for. Becoming a demon for her son, Mu Axian felt that she could act well. Soon, it was time for the audition. Muxin specially dressed up and came to the audition area on the first floor of the Galaxy Hotel. There were many people who came for the audition. Muxin didn't expect that she would be able to win the role of All Lie among hundreds of people. During her audition, it was a lie who had turned into a demon. She had vividly portrayed the pain of losing her son, and everyone present was very touched. The director announced to everyone on the spot that the role of All Lie would be played by Muxin. Walking out of the hotel, Mu Axayan was extremely excited. She called Sister May and told her the good news. After ending the call with Sister May, Mushin received a call from Ban Jianing. Half an hour later. In the restaurant next to Galaxy Hotel. Ban Jianing, who was dressed in a white suit, sat opposite Mushin. Mu Axayan's face was filled with joy because she had passed the interview. It was Ban Jianing's first time seeing her smiling non-stop in front of him. Ban Jianing's mood was also affected by her. He looked at her gently. What happy thing did you encounter? Can you tell me about it? I passed the audition and got the role of Ah Lai in Golden Phoenix Charm. Mushin said excitedly. When she was excited, the light in her eyes flickered, dark and bright. Ban Jianing looked at her quietly. The female lead. Chapter 1374. Mu Axayan smiled awkwardly. No, it's a small supporting role. Ban Jianing smiled faintly. His smile was extremely charming, like a spring breeze. He looked at Mu Axayan with a gentle gaze. There was a special feeling flowing in his eyes that even he didn't know about. He smiled and said, "You're so excited just by getting a small supporting role. If you get the female lead role, won't you jump into the sky?" The Mu Axayan in the past was proud and arrogant. He had never seen her so satisfied. In fact, her satisfied and excited little girl look was quite cute and adorable. When she was happy, her face was full of smiles and her eyes sparkled. It was very attractive. I don't dare to audition for the female lead role. I know myself. Mu Axayan clasped her hands and placed them on the table. She looked at Ban Jianing with a smile. When I was auditioning just now, I heard that the female lead role was already decided. The second female lead is Lin Ruoruo. Even such a popular actress like Lin Ruoruo only got the role of the second female lead. How would I dare to get the female lead role? Ban Jianing looked at her. Mu Axayan also has times when she's afraid. Aren't you that arrogant girl from the Mu family? When Mu Axayan heard this, she was unhappy. She stopped smiling and glared at Ban Jianing. Are you mocking me or praising me? When have I ever been so arrogant? She wasn't arrogant and despised him before, right? I think you should have more confidence in yourself, Ban Jianing said. Their dishes were served. Mu Axayan said as she ate, I'm very confident. It's just that I'm not even a B-list actress in the industry. Lin Ruoruo is an A-list actress. I'm already very satisfied to get the role of Ah Lai. It's much better than the corpse and servant roles I played before. After a moment of silence, Mu Axayan looked up and looked at Ban Jianing in surprise. Is Golden Phoenix Charm produced by Star Entertainment? In order to not make Mu Axayan suspicious, Ban Jianing sold the IP to a friend of his. It wasn't produced by Star Entertainment, but he had investment. And he was the one with the highest investment. Therefore, he had the final say on how the movie needed to be shot and which actors to participate in it. No, Lin Wei is in charge of this movie. I heard that in order to save money, Lin Wei directed and became the producer himself. He even acted as the Devil Lord himself, Ban Jianing said. When Mu Axayan heard that, she smiled and said, It's still all right. If you had invested in it, I would have suspected that you opened a back door for me. Ban Jianing's heart clenched when he heard that. He smiled unnaturally. If I open the back door for you, even if you're not the first female lead, you'll be the second female lead. Mu Axayan thought about it and felt that Ban Jianing's words made sense. She chuckled. I'll start from the bottom and hone my acting skills. When my acting skills are so exquisite that no one can compare to them, I don't mind you letting me in through the back door. Ban Jianing also had this plan, so he didn't arrange an important role for her at once. He chuckled softly. His voice was pleasing to the ear, and there was even a hint of gentleness in his tone. All right, I welcome you to join me at any time. Let me be your backer. When Mu Axayan heard that, she felt an inexplicable warmth in her heart. She took a deep look at Ban Jianing. Why did she feel like her heart had been hit by a deer when she heard him say that he wanted to be her backer? Mu Axayan lowered her head to eat. Her long eyelashes covered the emotions in her eyes. She secretly told herself, Mu Axayan, you mustn't be tempted. He already had a woman he liked, and he even personally admitted that the other party was a good girl. You mustn't be tempted by him. You mustn't destroy his feelings, and you mustn't hurt yourself again. When exactly will we start filming? Ban Jianing asked knowingly. Mu Axayan was still letting her imagination run wild. When he asked this, she didn't have time to hide the emotions in her eyes, so she didn't dare to raise her head. She was eating, but she didn't really know what to eat. She said, 2 months. Then do you have time to return to M City next month? Ban Jianing asked. Ah. Mu Axayan wasn't sure if she had the time. She looked up. Her gaze wavered, and there was a hint of confusion. She was like an ignorant girl who couldn't find her direction. When Ban Jianing saw her like this, his heart skipped a beat, and his heartstrings were pulled again. He looked at her with a dark gaze. If you're free, let's go back to M City together. With CEO Ban's status, you're going back to M City on a private plane, right? Mu Axayan teased. No. I'll drive back. How long will that take? Mu Axayan was shocked. Ban Jianing smiled. I plan to go back while having fun. In the past, I came and went in a hurry, and I didn't have time to enjoy the scenery by the roadside. I happen to be free these 2 months, and I want to relax. Won't it take a lot of time to go back while having fun? Mu Axayan shrugged. Sister Wuyo also hopes that I can go back. For Sister Wuyo, I'll take the time to go back no matter what. But... Ban Jianing looked at her gently. What's wrong? I'll take the high-speed rail back myself. The high-speed rail was fast and not expensive. Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows. You're not hitching a ride with me. If you go back and forth like this, it'll take at least half a month, right? If I hitch a ride with you, I'll have to let go of Mu Xiao for half a month. I can't bear to. We can bring Mu Xiao back together. No. Mu Axayan's face turned pale when she heard that. She glared at Ban Jianing. Ban Jianing, you said that you'll help me keep Mu Xiao's existence a secret. Seeing her so nervous, Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows, and a complicated look flashed past his eyes. He looked at her deeply and saw that her face was filled with anger and nervousness. She was afraid that her most precious thing would be snatched away by someone else. Mu Axayan, if your sister and your brother knew that you had a child, not only would they not blame you, but they would also feel sorry for your hard work all these years. I don't want their heartache. I just want to stay with Mu Xiao for the rest of my life. They know about Mu Xiao's existence, and they won't let you be separated from him. You don't understand. You're afraid of Mu Xiao's father. Yes. Mu Axayan looked at Ban Jianing. I'm afraid that he'll snatch Mu Xiao from me. With us protecting you, Qing Junguo won't have the ability to snatch Mu Xiao away. Mu Xiao, he is not Qing Junguo's child. Mu Axayan did not lose her rationality out of agitation. She quickly calmed herself down. She looked at Ban Jianing indifferently and said meaningfully, You don't understand. If Mu Xiao was Qing Junguo's child, she would not be afraid. However, he was Ban Jianing's child. Ban Jianing's power was not something that she or her brother could go against. If he took Mu Xiao away, there would be no need for a lawsuit. He could just snatch him away. In order to let the woman he liked live a peaceful life, he might even arrange for her to go abroad because he was afraid that she would disturb her because of Mu Xiao. By then, it would be difficult for her to even return to the country, let alone see Mu Xiao. Chapter 1375. The more Mu Axian thought about it, the more panic she felt. She was so scared by the result that her eyes turned red. She looked up, and her stubborn look made Ban Jianing feel like he saw the arrogant her from 5 years ago. But this time, it was more heart-wrenching. Her eyes were red, and she was about to cry. It was her stubbornness that made her hold back her tears. Ban Jianing frowned. Was she so afraid of Qing Junguo? Qing Junguo was like an ant in Ban Jianing's hands now. If he came to provoke her, he could trample him to death. What was she afraid of? Ban Jianing felt that Mu Axian was not only afraid of Qing Junguo snatching Mu Xiao away. She still couldn't let go of him and was afraid of being entangled with him. The more you loved someone, the more you didn't want to face it when you couldn't get it. Just like 5 years ago, he could have come to her side very early. He didn't want to face it, so he endured until now. Mu Axian looked at him with red eyes and said, "You're a man. You can't understand a woman's feelings, especially a woman who sees her child as her everything. If I didn't have Mu Xiao, I would only die. I won't hide it from Sister Wuyo and my brother forever, but I really can't let Mu Xiao's father know about his existence now. Mu Xiao is still young now. If his father wants to snatch him away, he can't resist at all. But when he's 18, it'll be different. He'll be an adult and sensible. He's so smart, his father can't snatch him away." Ban Jianing found it funny. "Do you want to wait until Mu Xiao is 18 years old before telling your brother?" Mu Axian smiled bitterly. "Why not? You're a woman, and you're working so hard to raise a child. It's killing you. Didn't she know how hard it was?" Mu Axian smiled faintly, and a touch of bitterness flashed through her eyes. "Mu Xiao is my life, and also my worry." She looked at Ban Jianing with a faint smile. "You don't understand. If it's Wuyo, why do I have to fight with my life? Mu Xiao is my only hope. If it takes my life to raise him, I won't hesitate." "You silly woman." Ban Jianing was shocked when he heard this. Her sentence, "If I were Wuyo, why would I need to fight with my life?" was a clear indication of the hardships she had gone through all these years. It also proved to him how important Mu Xiao was to her. The light in Ban Jianing's eyes became more and more profound, and there was a deathly stillness in his eyes. If the person she loved was him, if Mu Xiao was his child, everything would change, wouldn't it? "I won't force you. If you don't want to take my car, you can take the high-speed rail." Ban Jianing looked at Mu Axian. "I will definitely do what I promised you. I won't let your sister and your brother know about Mu Xiao's existence." Hearing Ban Jianing say that he wouldn't tell Song Wuyo and Migu about Mu Xiao's existence, Mu Axian breathed a sigh of relief. This feeling was as if she had just experienced a life-and-death battle. She smiled at Ban Jianing. "Thank you." After the filming of 3 Spears on a Horse was completed, Sister May had nothing to do after she quit her job as the script secretary. Signing a contract with Star Entertainment would only be Mu Axian for the time being, but Mu Axian had no projects to film. In the end, Ban Jianing told her to tell Muxin that she also wanted to play in M City. Sister May didn't dare to disobey her boss's arrangements. She went to Muxin's house and explained the situation to her. Muxin looked at Sister May in surprise. "You want to go to M City with me?" Sister May said ambiguously. "Star Entertainment said that the person I'm leading will only come back after 3 months from the US. I'm on paid leave for these 3 months. Since you're going back to M City, I'll take it as a vacation with you. Although I've been with the production team for so many years, I haven't spent much time in M City. I heard that M City has become very prosperous these few years under President Gu's management and many tourist areas have been developed. I want to take this opportunity to visit M City. Mushin smiled. I was thinking of leaving Mu Xiao to you to take care of when I'm back in M City. I can bring Mu Xiao to M City. Chapter 1376. What? Bring Mu Xiao back to M City. This was what Mu Axayan was most afraid of. How could Sister May make such a suggestion? After Mu Axayan recovered from her shock, her face darkened. She looked at Sister May unhappily and refused. No. Absolutely not. Sister May smiled. I know what you are worried about, but you can tell them that Mu Xiao is my son. Or I can bring Mu Xiao around M City to play and not appear in front of you. Mu Xiao's eyes lit up when he heard this. He looked at Mu Axayan expectantly. Mommy, Auntie May's idea is not bad. M City is where you grew up, but I have never been there. Why don't you let me go? No, you have to learn. Mu Axayan would definitely not indulge Mu Xiao in this aspect. I can bring my textbooks to learn, Mu Xiao said. He was still in kindergarten, so he knew all the lessons for children. Mu Axayan just treat it as giving him a chance to relax. The more places he goes, the more experience he can have. I am taking care of him in a city and M City. Why don't we follow you to M City? If you miss Mu Xiao, we can still meet. To put it bluntly, if Mu Xiao has a cold or fever, I will not panic with you by my side, Sister May said. Once, when Mu Axayan returned to M City, she left Mu Xiao in her care. One night, the child suddenly had a high fever and was sent to the hospital for injections and medicine. The fever did not go down the next day. At that time, Sister May was terrified. She was extremely afraid that something bad would happen to him. If something really happened to Mu Xiao, she did not know how to explain it to Mu Axayan. She could only call Mu Axayan, and Mu Axayan rushed back to a city from M City. Then, Mu Xiao's fever went on and on for more than half a month. The doctor said that it was related to the child's growth in teeth, so she did not have to worry too much. This time, Mu Xiao's illness really scared Mu Axayan and Sister May. From then on, Mu Axayan paid more attention to the child's diet and made him eat light and nutritious food. Greasy food, ice cream, barbecue, spicy food, junk food. Mu Axayan did not let him touch any of them. Hearing Sister May's words, Mu Axayan inadvertently recalled the past. She was a little worried. She did not want to leave Mu Xiao for a day, and it was so far away. M City and a city were so far apart. Big Sister May had been in this world for a long time. Of course, she had learned how to read people's expressions. She could clearly sense the flicker of hesitation on Mu Axayan's face, so she added, Mu Axayan, Mu Xiao is a boy. It's good to bring him out to play and see the world. Think about it, this trip will take you at least 7 days, right? You haven't seen Mu Xiao for a week. Don't you miss him? Aren't you worried about him? Hearing this, Mu Xiao nodded. His two beautiful eyes looked at Mu Axayan and he said in a childish voice, Mommy, let me go to M City with you. I really want to see the prosperity of M City. Mu Axayan looked at Mu Xiao. Seeing how cute he was, Mu Axayan's heart melted. She didn't want to reject him. But when she thought about it, what if Song Wuyo really found out that Mu Xiao was her son, then Ban Jianing would find out. Mu Xiao seemed to have seen through Mu Axayan's worries. Mu Xiao gave her a reassuring look and said seriously, Mommy, I definitely won't let them find out that I'm your son. When the time comes, I'll call you Sister Muaxayan and I'll call you Aunt May. Chapter 1377. But your name. That would be exposed. Mu Xiao gave Muxin a reassuring smile. Mommy, don't worry about that. If you don't call me Mu Xiao, they won't know my name. If we don't call you Mu Xiao, what should we call you? Muxin asked. Mei Xiao, Xiao Xiao. You can choose between these two names. Xiao Xiao. Muxin chose this name as soon as Mu Xiao finished his sentence. Xiao Xiao was still her Mu Xiao. Mei Xiao. Didn't she have to change her surname? Also, Mei Xiao sounded weird. Elder sister Mei smiled and said, "It's settled then. When we arrive at M City, we will all call him Mu Xiao. Mu Xiao is my son. I resigned because of my resignation. If there's time, I'll take this opportunity to bring my son and my friend Muaxayan to M City to have fun and try M City's most famous fish balls." With that, Sister Mei stood up and said to Mu Xiao and Muxin, "Prepare well. I'll go back and pack." She was going back to call Ban Jianing and report to him that she had convinced Muxin. Mu Xiao and Muxin muttered, "I haven't said when we'll return to M City. Sister Mei is in such a hurry to pack. Isn't it too soon?" "It's a little fast, but I can tell that Aunt May is very excited to go to M City." Muxin looked at Mu Xiao. "Are you excited?" Mu Xiao nodded. "I'm excited, but I'm not as excited as Aunt May." Mu Xiao's eyes lit up and he looked at Muxin. "Mommy, is Aunt May's boyfriend in M City? Does Aunt May have a boyfriend? I've never heard her mention it. Then M City has a special meaning to her. Maybe she met her husband in M City." "Alright, this isn't for a kid like you to guess." Muxin patted Mu Xiao's head. "Remember, when you reach M City, you're Aunt May's son." "Got it, Sister Muxin. You're not allowed to call me sister now." "Got it, Sister Muxin." When Sister Mei returned home, she was as nervous as a thief. She locked the door and then secretly called Ban Jianing. "Boss, I've convinced Muaxayan to bring Mu Xiao back to M City. But she has a condition. Mu Xiao has to be my son by then. He has to call me mother and her sister. We have to call him Mu Xiao, Xiao Xiao, and his surname is Mei." At this time, Ban Jianing's car was parked in Spring Breeze residential area. This parking space was just below where Muxin lived. When he got out of the car and looked up, he could see Muaxayan's balcony. When he received Sister Mei's call, he was getting out of the car and leaning against the car to smoke. After hearing Big Sister Mei's words, he softly agreed. As long as Muaxayan agreed to bring Mu Xiao to M City, everything would be fine. As long as Muaxayan agreed to bring Mu Xiao to M City, then she wouldn't care about the time of departure. He could convince her to take his car back. What he wanted was for her to take his car back and travel all the way back to M City. He wanted her to accompany him to see the scenery along the way. As for Mu Xiao, his surname was Mei and his surname was Mu. He couldn't care less about who he called mother. No matter what Mu Xiao called them or what they called Mu Xiao, he was still Qing Juanggua's flesh and blood. After ending the call with Sister Mei, Ban Jianing put out the cigarette butt and looked up at the balcony that belonged to her. Ban Jianing curled his lips and smiled slyly. Even if he was slyly, his smile was still so handsome and charming. He straightened his body and walked into the building with his long legs. Chapter 1378. Mu Xiao was also very happy that he could go to M City. After all, children were playful. However, he didn't show it. He said calmly to Muaxayan, "Mommy, I'll go in." He also had to tidy up. Mu Axian nodded. Okay, I'll make a cup of flower tea. After Mu Xiao entered the room and closed the door, he clenched his fists and jumped excitedly in the room. Oh, he could finally go to the city where Mommy grew up. He was very happy. Very excited. And very excited. Ding dong, Mu Axian had just finished brewing the tea when the doorbell rang. Hearing the doorbell, Mu Axian stood there with the teapot. She looked at the door. The person who rang the doorbell shouldn't be Sister May. Sister May had the key to her house. Other than the property management, it was Ban Jianing. She didn't owe any fees, so the property management wouldn't knock on the door for no reason. It must be Ban Jianing. Mu Axian shook her head helplessly. Why did he come to her house again? Ding dong, the doorbell rang again. Mu Axian pursed her lips, walked over, and opened the door. It was indeed Ban Jianing. Ban Jianing was wearing a fitted suit, making him look tall and handsome. She didn't know if it was because of the lights in the corridor, or if it was because this man had a natural quality that was worth looking at. When she opened the door and took a look, Mu Axian felt that this man was even more handsome, and his phoenix-like eyes were even deeper. It was a stunning feeling. Mu Axian was also stunned. She suspected that she was looking at a fake Ban Jianing. Why didn't she think that he was very handsome in the past? Now, he was exuding the aura of a domineering CEO, and, like hormones. Whether it was his cold expression or his smiling expression, he was as handsome as a banished immortal. Mu Axian instinctively asked, "What's the matter?" Ban Jianing didn't wait for her to invite him into the house and walked in directly in front of her. A faint sandalwood fragrance floated into Mu Axian's nostrils. Mu Axian took a whiff and had to admit that this smell was very nice. She had been close to Gu Yanhao before, and she felt that the faint tobacco smell on Gu Yanhao's body was very nice. She didn't expect Ban Jianing's sandalwood smell to be so nice. Mu Axian closed the door, turned around, and looked at Ban Jianing. Ban Jianing actually treated this place as his own home. He took a white porcelain cup from the coffee table and poured himself some tea. Just as he was about to bring the tea to his mouth, Mu Xin rushed over. "That's my cup." Ban Jianing quickly took a sip, then deliberately raised his eyebrows and put on a look of disdain. "It's not Mu Xiao's." He brought Mu Xiao's cup into his room. The corner of Mu Xin's mouth twitched. "I'll serve you tea." "You. Aren't you being too casual?" Her cup was the same as Mu Xiao's, a mother-child cup. The only difference was that her cup had a picture of a mother while Mu Xiao's was a picture of a child. Ban Jianing sat elegantly and smiled charmingly. "It's okay. I've already drunk it. Actually, I'm very thirsty." Mu Axian sat down in front of him, took a disposable cup, and poured him a cup of flower tea. When she heard what he said, she laughed sarcastically. "You're the CEO of Star Entertainment. Will no one give you water when you're thirsty?" Even if he drove to Spring Breeze Community, he should have prepared mineral water in his car, right? "I'm too busy. So busy that I don't even have time to drink water." "CEO Ban, you have to earn money, but your body is a revolution." Ban Jianing looked at Mu Axian with a faint smile, his gaze unreadable. "Didn't you say before that if there was Wuyo, there would be no need to fight with your life?" Chapter 1379. When Mu Xin heard this, she was slightly stunned. What did he mean? She looked into his eyes. "Do you have any worries in your life?" Ban Jianing looked at her with a faint smile. "Yes. And it was a very big worry." "What are you worried about?" Mu Xin asked instinctively. Ban Jianing smiled, his eyes full of gentleness. "Earning money and giving the child's mother a good life." When Mushin heard this, her heart sank inexplicably. This feeling was very unfamiliar. Although her heart bumped against her chest, it was not because she was moved, but because she was feeling down. She did not ignore the gentleness in his eyes. When he said that he wanted to earn money and give the child's mother a good life, his eyes were very gentle. Mushin smiled lightly, but it was a little insincere. Aren't you quite rich now? Why do you have to work so hard? Ban Jianing spread out his hands and smiled. But I think it's far from enough. Mushin said a little carelessly, so, you're going to be a father soon. Ban Jianing looked at Mushin and saw the disappointment in her eyes. He was in a good mood. His good friend Zhang Jun had told him to say such things in front of her more often. If she showed any signs of jealousy or unhappiness, it meant that she liked him. Then, it would not be a problem for him to confess to her at this time. Now that he saw the disappointment in her eyes, how could he not be happy? Ban Jianing added fuel to the fire. Yes, it's very hard for her. I want her to live a very good life. Of course. Mushin smiled. This was a good man who knew how to dote on the woman who gave birth to his child. Mushin thought bitterly in her heart, this woman was really lucky to have a child with her. Especially the child, who had the love of his parents, unlike her Mu Xiao. Mushin, I'm driving back to M City next Wednesday. Do you want to come along? Ban Jianing asked. Mushin looked at him. Aren't you bringing her back? She did not even know if she was in M City or a city. Ban Jianing smiled. I brought a driver. Mushin really wanted to ask, where was their child? But she felt that if she asked, would it seem like she was very nosy and concerned about his matters. In the end, Mushin did not ask anything. Wasn't the result the same whether she asked or not? He drove back himself but did not bring her along. She should not be in a city. This time, I won't take the highway. I'll take the national highway. It's good that you're hitching a ride with me on the way back. There's someone to accompany you to see the scenery and eat snacks from all over the world. There's no need to squeeze into the high-speed rail. There's no one to talk to on the way. No, Jianing, I didn't say that I wanted to see the scenery. Besides, the high-speed railway is not crowded. It's not the subway. Mu Xiao and Sister Mei came with me to M City. On the way, someone talked to me. Mu Xiao and Big Sister Mei are going too. That's all the more reason for you to hitch a ride with me. I'll pay for the round-trip fare and food expenses. Aren't you saving a lot of money this way? What if they couldn't get good tickets and Mu Xiao didn't have a seat? Don't you want to hug him? If there are seats available, you'll have to pay for an extra seat. Jianing, you may not know how to take a high-speed railway. Mushin was speechless. She suspected that he had never taken a high-speed railway before. I want someone to accompany me on the way. Ban Jianing suddenly stopped smiling and looked at Mu Axian with a deep gaze. You should relax before Golden Phoenix Charm starts filming. Don't worry, I'll rush back before Golden Phoenix Charm starts filming. I won't affect your work. This is not a problem of affecting my work at all. Chapter 1380. Since it doesn't affect work, then there's no problem. It's settled then. You're not allowed to book tickets. I'll pick you up on Wednesday morning. You don't have to bring anything. I'll take care of your food and drink. Rich and inhumane. Didn't you just say that you want to earn money for your child and child's mother to live a good life? Why are you so generous to us? Aren't you afraid that we'll eat a lot of your money? Mu Axian looked at Ban Jianing in amusement. She felt that he was still a little shameless. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Axian and said, I'm not afraid. No matter how much you can eat, you won't be able to eat much. The mother and child he was referring to were her and Mu Xiao. He had thought it through. No matter whose son Mu Xiao was, he would accept him. Moreover, Mu Xiao wasn't annoying. He was very obedient. If he didn't let Qing Junguo know about Mu Xiao's existence in this life, Qing Junguo wouldn't know that he had a son by Mu Xian's side. At this moment, Mu Xiao came out of the room. When he saw Ban Jianing, Mu Xiao's eyes lit up. Soon, he walked over as if nothing had happened and greeted Ban Jianing obediently. "Uncle, you're here." Ban Jianing was just thinking about him when he saw him. Ban Jianing's gaze slid away from Mu Xian's face and landed on Mu Xiao's tender and jade-like face. What a handsome and elegant child. He liked him. He also realized that this child's temperament was somewhat similar to his. They were both, whether they lived a poor life or a rich life. They all had an innate nobility about them. Ban Jianing had to admit that Mu Xiao had a good foundation. When he grew up, he would definitely be a handsome man. Ban Jianing smiled at Mu Xiao. "Yes, I came to ask your mommy if she's going back to M City with me next Wednesday." Mu Xiao was surprised when he heard that. "You're going back to M City too?" Ban Jianing nodded. "Yes, it's my niece's 6th birthday. As an uncle, I have to be there." "Oh." Mu Xiao nodded, indicating that he understood. Mu Xiao asked, "Is my mommy going with you?" Ban Jianing nodded. "Yes. I heard that you're going too. You all have to come with me." "All?" Mu Xiao blinked and looked at Ban Jianing with his dark eyes. "There's also Aunt May," Mu Xiao said. He was afraid that his mommy would forget about Aunt May. Ban Jianing nodded. He raised his wrist and looked at the time. "It's already afternoon. I haven't even had lunch yet." Mu Xian and Mu Xiao, and then. Did he want to invite them to dinner, or? Ban Jianing looked at Mu Xian with a faint smile. "Can you cook a bowl of noodles for me?" Could Mu Xin refuse? It seemed impossible. Because he was Mu Xiao's father. Although he didn't know, Mu Xiao knew. "Don't be too mean to your son's father in front of him, wait a moment." Mu Xian entered the kitchen. Only Ban Jianing and Mu Xiao were left in the living room. Mu Xiao sat down on the sofa and looked at Ban Jianing. "Uncle, my mommy's noodles are not delicious at all." Ban Jianing smiled. "It's okay. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Everything is delicious." Mu Xiao looked at Ban Jianing and felt that his father didn't have the airs of a CEO at all. Mu Xiao asked, "Uncle, what do you think of my mommy?" Ban Jianing gracefully leaned on the sofa with a faint smile on his face. "What are you referring to?" "Personality and looks." "Looks can't be compared. Your mommy's looks and figure are quite good." "What about personality?" Mu Xiao asked expectantly. It seemed that Daddy still liked mommy very much. Chapter 1381. Her personality has changed a lot now, but she's still not likable. Not likable? Mu Xiao was puzzled. My mommy's personality is not likable? Why is she not likable? He felt that she was very likable. Mu Xiao felt that his mommy was the best in the world. Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows. She used to be willful, arrogant, condescending, and stupid. She believed Qing Junguo and was deceived by him. Mu Xiao's eyes twitched. Was his mommy such a person? Mu Xiao's small body moved towards the sofa and muttered, "Mommy said that you used to like her very much. Why do you think she has so many flaws?" Ban Jianing found it funny. "Did she tell you that I used to like her?" "Yes." "Not only did she tell him that, she even said that you were drunk and raped her." After that, you didn't have any recollection of it at all. Daddy, how drunk were you at that time? Ban Jianing cleared his throat and faintly said, I only realized her character later on. Mu Xiao looked unhappy. That means that after I realized her character, you didn't like her anymore. Why? Do you really want me to continue liking your mommy? Ban Jianing looked at Mu Xiao with interest. Mommy said that you have a very good girl by your side. Ban Jianing smiled. Did she say that she likes your daddy? Yes, I do, Mu Xiao blurted out. After saying that, he realized that he had said something wrong. His father was Ban Jianing, and in Ban Jianing's eyes, his father was Qing Junhua. Ban Jianing would be very unhappy if he said that, right? Mu Xiao looked at Ban Jianing, his gaze locked on his face. But the other party didn't seem to have any expression. Mu Xiao thought to himself, could it be that he really loves that woman? Thinking of this, Mu Xiao was a little disappointed. Actually, he really hoped that his mommy would have a good man by her side to take care of her. And he felt that Ban Jianing was a good man. Now that he had a woman he loved, how could he still like his mommy? How could Ban Jianing feel comfortable in his heart? Most of the children's words were true. Children would not lie. It must be that Mu Axian still liked Qing Junhua. Mu Xiao knew. Even Mu Xiao knew about it. It seemed like Mu Xin really liked Qing Junhua. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Xiao. All these years, have any men pursued your mommy? Mu Xiao blinked and nodded. Yes, there was once a man who was a manager in a company. He had a car and a house, and he was quite financially capable. He was also handsome, and he pursued her. However, my mommy didn't accept him. Ban Jianing smiled bitterly. Your mommy must be doing this for your daddy. Mu Xiao pouted. Of course not. Mommy did it for him. Mu Xiao didn't want to say anything. He looked at Ban Jianing indifferently. Could this man think any further? The noodles are ready. Mu Axian came out. She had a smile on her face. In fact, she was using this smile to cover up her unhappy mood. She overheard the conversation between the father and son in the kitchen. Ban Jianing, this man, actually said that she was a willful, arrogant, condescending, and stupid woman. In his heart, she actually had so many flaws. Ban Jianing got up and went into the dining room to eat noodles. After Mu Xiao watched him go in, he retracted his gaze and looked at Mu Axian. Mommy, he said that you are stupid. Actually, I think he is even stupider. Chapter 1382. Why do you say that? You always think that I'm Qing Junhua's son. Isn't he awesome? You'll know once you investigate. Mu Axian was disappointed. He is awesome, but he doesn't want to investigate us. Mu Xiao asked, why? Mu Axian looked at Mu Xiao. To him, there's nothing to investigate. Think about it. He knows that you're Qing Junhua's son, and he thinks that I haven't had a boyfriend in the past few years because of Qing Junhua. In his eyes, isn't our situation clear as day? Moreover, he's not free. I've asked Sister May. Star Entertainment has invested in a few big IPs this year and even started a gaming department. Not only are they going to make these IPs into TV dramas, movies, and games. He also told me personally that he wants to make his career big and earn money so that he can give his child and his child's mother a good life. Isn't he too free to investigate us? When Mu Xiao heard the last sentence, his heart sank. He pursed his lips. He really loves his child. He just didn't know if he would love his son as much as he did when he found out about him. Ban Jianing finished his noodles and came out with a satisfied look on his face. Ban Jianing smiled at Mu Axian. Not bad, it tastes good. Ha! Mu Axian laughed. Mu Axian, the owner of the building above you, bought a new house somewhere else. I'm going to buy his house. What? Mu Axian was stunned. Don't you already have a villa in a city? Song Wuyo had told her this. This place is close to the company, and the villa is far from the company. It takes a lot of time to go back and forth in a day. So you're going to move upstairs. This was nothing. Mu Axian had lived here for 5 years and had never seen the person upstairs. She thought that if Ban Jianing didn't come downstairs to look for her, they might not be able to see each other every day. Yes, I have such plans. Will your girlfriend be moving in as well? Mu Xiao asked. Mu Axian was stunned and looked at Mu Xiao. Mu Xiao looked indifferent. Ban Jianing smiled. No. He didn't have a girlfriend now. Mu Xiao nodded, indicating that he understood. Ban Jianing glanced at them and said, I'm going back. I'll pick you up next Wednesday morning. After Ban Jianing left, Mu Xiao snorted. Did he come here just to freeload a bowl of noodles from us? Mu Axian shook her head. I don't think so. He might be here for the house upstairs. Mu Xiao suddenly thought of something. His eyes flashed as he looked at Mu Axian in surprise. Could he have moved here because of you? Mommy, is he planning to pursue you again? When Mu Axian heard this, her heart trembled. Wednesday morning. Ban Jianing's limousine was parked in a parking space below Muxin. His car was an extended version of a Rolls-Royce Phantom. He must have modified it. Other than the front passenger seat, the back of the car was like a small room. There was a comfortable sofa, a dining table, and under the table, there were drawers with all kinds of food. There were many books on the sofa. Mu Axian and Mu Xiao sat inside and didn't find the space cramped at all. It was very comfortable. 2 long sofas and 2 short sofas surrounded the table. An adult could lie on the long sofa. Mu Xiao sized up the car and then gave Ban Jianing, who was sitting opposite him, a thumbs up. Uncle, the car is not bad. I specially modified it, Ban Jianing said with a smile. When Mu Xiao heard this, he looked at Ban Jianing in surprise and asked, You didn't modify it to make it easier to take us back to M City, did you? Chapter 1383. Ban Jianing nodded. You could say that. When Mu Axian heard this, she frowned slightly and looked at Ban Jianing with a complicated expression. Why did he have to go through so much trouble? Mu Xiao asked, How much will the modifications cost? You don't have to spend that kind of money. Ban Jianing smiled generously. As long as you don't suffer along the way, it doesn't matter how much money you spend. A smile suddenly appeared on Mu Xiao's handsome little face. Uncle, aren't you being too nice to us? It's a must. Otherwise, I might get scolded when I go back. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Axian intentionally. His smile was charming and his eyes were like magnets that could suck her heart in. If it weren't for his words, she would have been touched. If a man cares about your suffering, it means that he really cares about you. But he said that he didn't want to be scolded. She knew that Sister Wuyo would blame him if he treated her badly on the way here. He was being so considerate because he didn't want to be scolded. It wasn't because he didn't want her to suffer. The car drove out of Spring Breeze apartment. The trip back to M City had officially begun. Instead of taking the highway, they took the national highway. The driver was Ban Jianing's chauffeur. Sister May sat in the front passenger seat so that she wouldn't disturb the 3 of them. He watched them interact and listened to their conversations. Elder Sister May finally understood the relationship between Ban Jianing and Muxin. However, she suspected that Mu Xiao was Ban Jianing's son. She had known Mu Axian for so long, but this was the first time she saw Mu Axian willing to get along with a man. Sister May's intuition told her that Mu Xiao was Ban Jianing's son. With this premonition, Big Sister May would look at Mu Xiao and Ban Jianing whenever she was bored. Why was it that the more she looked, the more she felt that Mu Xiao resembled Ban Jianing? The car kept driving from a city. The speed was not fast. In the car, one could enjoy the scenery outside. When they passed by each city and town, they could even stop and take a look at the beautiful places. When they arrived at Xinluo, they were captivated by the scenery. Seeing that it was getting late, Ban Jianing suggested that they stay here for the night. Xinluo was a small city. A few years ago, the standard of living here wasn't high. Development was slow, and the terrain was relatively remote. Although there were roads, the roads were curved, making it inconvenient to travel. It was only in the past few years that the standard of living here had slowly improved. Most of the people here started out by planting oranges. Because this place was relatively remote and mountainous, the scenery here was beautiful and clear. The entire city was not even comparable to a town in a city. However, no matter how small a mosquito was, it still had meat. Although Xinluo was small, its retro architecture was something to look forward to. The environment was clean and green. Moreover, the snacks here were quite good. Roasted suckling pig, braised pheasant, fried frog, boiled corn, stir-fried chestnuts, there were so many that it was impossible to count them all. Moreover, these snacks were all natural. The suckling pigs were raised at home, the pheasants and frogs were all caught, the corn was planted at home, and the chestnuts were picked from the mountains. Ban Jianing booked 4 luxurious rooms in a hotel. The chauffeur and Sister May were responsible for carrying the luggage to the hotel. Mu Xi knew that Ban Jianing had booked 4 rooms, and they were so expensive. In a moment of desperation, she stepped forward and grabbed Ban Jianing's arm. Her pitch-black eyes looked at the other party anxiously. Ban Jianing, you don't have to book 4 rooms, right? Ban Jianing looked at her charmingly. Too much. Why don't I give up a room and share a room with you and Mu Xiao? Chapter 1384. When Mu Xiao heard that, his eyes lit up. This was a good idea. He raised his head and looked at Mu Axian. Mu Axian's face was red as she glared at Ban Jianing. Who wants to share a room with you? I only want you to book 2 rooms. Ban Jianing looked at her in amusement. Book 2 rooms. Mu Axian explained, 1 room for a man and 1 room for a woman. Why should we book 4 rooms? It's a waste of money. Her hurried explanation with a hint of shyness was very cute in Ban Jianing's eyes. Ban Jianing couldn't help but laugh. He raised his head and patted her head, saying gently, "Stupid woman, I'm spending money for you. Don't feel bad." When Mu Axian heard that, her breathing stagnated. Her heart slammed hard against her chest. She seemed to have heard the sound of a crash. His words made an image suddenly appear in her mind. He patted her head gently and said to her gently, "I'm earning money to support you. You can spend as much as you want. If you don't, my heart will ache. Let's go up and take a look at the hotel's environment." With that, Ban Jianing turned around and entered the elevator. His words pulled Mu Axian, whose thoughts had drifted far away, back to reality. Mu Axian held Mu Xiao's hand and hurried up. Sister May and Ban Jianing's chauffeur, Fei Fei, had already gone up. At this moment, there were only the 3 of them in the elevator. Ban Jianing stood alone on one side while Mu Axian and Mu Xiao stood on the other. Ban Jianing's tall figure leaned against the wall of the elevator. His lips were slightly curved as he looked at Mu Axian with a smile in his eyes. He seemed to be sizing her up, she was dressed simply in a yellow sweater and a pair of black trousers. Paired with a pair of new white shoes that were released this year, they were fresh, sunny, and showed off her figure. Her legs were perfectly straight and slender. Ban Jianing looked at Mu Axayan from her feet to her head. It wasn't hard to see a hint of charm in his smiling eyes. The moment they entered, Mu Axayan realized that this man was looking at her. It was just that she didn't expect him to look at her for so long. They had to go up to the 26th floor. No matter how fast the elevator was, it would still take time. It was very suppressive. Mu Axian felt uncomfortable under Ban Jianing's gaze. She felt like she was an animal in the zoo being teased by him. Mu Xiao, who had been silent all this while, looked at them quietly. Why did he feel that? Daddy and Mommy. Is there something on my face? In the end, Mu Axayan could not take it anymore. She withdrew her gaze that had been dodging Ban Jianing's gaze and pretended to be puzzled. Yes. Ban Jianing smiled faintly. Mu Xin asked, what is it? After saying that, she raised her head and touched both sides of her face. Ban Jianing smiled. Flowers. When Mu Xiao heard this, he raised his eyebrows and looked at Ban Jianing with sparkling eyes. When he saw Ban Jianing's charming smile, he thought to himself, could it be that his daddy is an expert at flirting with girls? Flowers. Mu Axian frowned. Why would there be flowers on my face? Your face is prettier than flowers. When Mu Axian heard this, her face turned red. Her heart seemed to have been lightly knocked by something. Her heart skipped a beat, but she quickly calmed down. She glared at Ban Jianing unhappily. Are you happy to tease me? Ban Jianing suddenly stopped smiling, but the smile in his eyes was still there. He said seriously, I'm telling the truth. Is my mommy prettier or is your girlfriend prettier? Mu Xiao suddenly asked. Mu Axian's heart tightened subconsciously. She quickly rolled her eyes at Mu Xiao. Why did this kid ask this question? Ban Jianing looked at Mu Axian and smiled. My girlfriend is prettier. Chapter 1385. Mu Axian did not know why, but she felt hurt when she heard this. She gave Ban Jianing a cold stare and complained in her heart. Your girlfriend is pretty, why did you say my face is prettier than flowers? Mu Axian was puzzled. When did Ban Jianing become so good at flirting? Mu Axian could not help but recall the time when they first met. Although he was silly, he still flirted with her like this. He kept pestering her to sleep with him, to feed him, and to bathe him. Mu Axian sneered. How was he flirting with her at that time? He was a hooligan. What are you snorting about? Ban Jianing asked. Humph, those shameless hooligans. Mu Axian said calmly. Oh. Ban Jianing would not admit that he was a shameless hooligan. Ding! The lift reached the 26th floor. Ban Jianing extended his hand to Mu Xiao. Kid, I will bring you to your room. Mu Xiao smiled and placed his little hand in Ban Jianing's big palm. Ban Jianing held Mu Xiao's hand, and Mu Xiao suddenly felt warmth flowing from his little palm to his heart. He raised his head and looked at Ban Jianing. Yes, he gave 80 marks to this daddy. This 80 marks was because Mu Xiao thought he was Qing Juanggua's son and treated him so well. Mu Axian followed behind them. Looking at the backs of the two of them, she felt a little complicated. She could feel that Mu Xiao was very satisfied with this daddy. Sigh, Mu Xiao was only 4 years old. He was just starting to understand and needed a father's love. 4 guest rooms, side by side. Room 2616, 2617, 2618, 2619. Ban Jianing brought Mu Xiao into room 2616. When they walked in, Mu Zhao's eyes widened. Damn, it was luxurious. Luxurious double bed, with a clean blanket, chairs, sofa. Uncle, not bad. This is a luxurious room. Mu Zhao said. Ban Jianing stood there and looked around the room. Two double beds. A hint of craftiness flashed through his smiling eyes. He let go of Mu Zhao's hand and smiled. As long as you like it. You all can look around first. I will look around the other rooms. Ban Jianing turned around and left room 2616. He didn't go to the other rooms. Instead, he made a call in the corridor. After the fight, he returned and asked Mu Axayan, who had come to the window to look at the scenery outside, "Are you satisfied?" Mu Xiao went to the toilet. Ban Jianing's leather shoes stepped on the carpet without making any sound. Mu Axayan happened to see a couple throwing a tantrum on the street opposite the hotel. The woman was squatting by the side of the street, and the man beside her kept saying something. Mu Axayan thought that he should be coaxing her. Therefore, when Ban Jianing came in, she did not notice at all. He came up behind her and was very close. A man's voice suddenly came from the top of her head. Mu Axayan was startled. She quickly turned around. When she saw that it was Ban Jianing, she subconsciously stepped back. She leaned against the window, and the panic in her eyes had yet to fade. Her face was slightly pale, and she did not react in time. When she heard Ban Jianing's voice, she thought that a pervert had come in. When she saw Ban Jianing clearly, her emotions soared. She glared at Ban Jianing and said fiercely, "Didn't you go to your room? Why did he suddenly appear behind me? You scared me to death." Ban Jianing did not expect that she would have such a big reaction. Ban Jianing frowned slightly. He felt a little sorry for her flustered look. A person who panicked so easily was usually too insecure. "Did I scare you?" Ban Jianing asked in a low voice. Chapter 1386. You suddenly came in and spoke. How could you not scare me? Mu Axayan, who had calmed down, was a little angry. Ban Jianing smiled, his deep gaze locked on Mu Axayan's face. Mu Axayan, when did you become so timid? Mu Axayan said indifferently, I've always been timid. Ban Jianing shook his head. No, you weren't this timid in the past. Mu Axayan snorted. You say it as if you know me very well. I know you very well. Mu Axayan snorted even more. She was going to look down on him. If he really knew her well, he wouldn't say that she was willful and arrogant. Mu Axayan looked at him unhappily. Didn't you say you were going back to your room to take a look? Why did you come back? Something happened. Fei Fei went to deal with it. What happened? Just as Mu Axayan finished asking, the driver, Fei Fei, and the hotel manager appeared. Mu Axayan looked up. Through Ban Jianing, she saw the two men walking in. Ban Jianing glanced at her, then turned around. His expression was cold, and he looked very unhappy. President Ban, the hotel manager is here. Fei Fei looked at Ban Jianing. When the manager heard Fei Fei call Ban Jianing President Ban, he immediately went forward and smiled apologetically. Mr. Ban, I'm very sorry. Room 2617 was booked by a guest yesterday. The guest will arrive in Xinluo in half an hour. We were negligent and gave room 2617 to you. Do you think you can? It's okay. Give us another room. Ban Jianing's expression was indifferent, but he wasn't an unreasonable person. When the manager heard this, he looked even more guilty and apologetic. President Ban, I'm really sorry. There's no room. Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows and looked at the manager coldly. No room. It seems that your hotel's business is very prosperous. The manager smiled. It's not like that. The weather forecast said that a typhoon will land in Shinlua tonight and tomorrow. People passing by Shinlua should stop for safety reasons and wait for the typhoon to pass before continuing on their journey. Mr. Ban, I'm really sorry. We weren't careful enough and brought you so much trouble. The manager sincerely apologized to Ban Jianing. His respect and fear for Ban Jianing were fully displayed. Mu Axayan was afraid that Ban Jianing would really blame the manager and complain to him. She said, "We're short of 1 room. We still have 3. Let's just make do with it." When Ban Jianing heard this, he raised his thick brows and looked at Mu Axayan with an unfathomable gaze. He then waved to the manager. "Go and register. We'll book 1 less room." When the manager heard this, he immediately beamed with joy and nodded repeatedly. "Okay. To express our apologies, the hotel has prepared a free dinner for Mr. Ben and his family. The restaurant is on the 4th floor. Mr. Ban can go down to have a meal anytime." Ban Jianing nodded. Got it." The driver, Fei Fei, and the hotel manager left. Ban Jianing turned around and smiled at Mu Axayan. His smile made Mu Axayan feel that he was like a cunning fox, causing Mu Axayan's scalp to go numb. Mu Axayan frowned. "What's with that look? Let's just make do tonight." When Mu Axayan heard this, she was shocked. "How can it be that we have to make do? If we're short of 1 room, can't you and your driver, Fei Fei, just stay in it? Don't all the rooms you booked have 2 beds? "No, Fei Fei and Sister May are staying in 1 bed. That's still you and Fei Fei sharing a room. You're making do, not us." Chapter 1387. Mushin, I can't sleep with Fei Fei. "Why not? The double bed is quite wide. It won't be narrow with 2 men lying on it." Ban Jianing looked up and rubbed Mushin's head. "Fei Fei likes men. It's dangerous for me to sleep with him." "What?" Mushin was shocked. "Fei Fei likes men." Ban Jianing smiled. "Are you surprised? But, he looks normal and tall. He doesn't look like a man who likes men. Which homophile would have 'I'm a homophile' written all over their faces? Fei Fei is not feminine at all. Who said that feminine people must like men? Such a tall man, Fei Fei must be the dominant one. This isn't a problem we hate, right? Then what should we discuss? Tonight, you sleep on the same bed. Mu Xiao and I will sleep on the same bed." Mu Xiao suddenly jumped out of the bathroom and clapped his hands excitedly. Okay. His small body quickly came between Ban Jianing and Mushin. He looked up and smiled at them. "You heard it too. There will be a typhoon tonight or tomorrow." Mushin didn't think much of it. "There will be a typhoon. What are you so excited about?" "I'm excited that I can sleep with you. With you hugging me, the typhoon won't blow me away." "You don't have me hugging you. The typhoon won't blow you away. You're indoors, not outdoors. Anyway, with you around, we can sleep more peacefully. I heard that some hotels are very dangerous." Hearing Mu Xiao's words, Mushin thought of the news that spread like wildfire half a year ago. A woman was kidnapped in a hotel. Mushin glanced at Ban Jianing and said dejectedly, "Do whatever you want." In short, Ban Jianing treated Mu Xiao as Qing Juinggua's son. He wouldn't investigate Mu Xiao's identity. This made her feel more at ease. Mu Xiao is very obedient. He deserves to be loved. Ban Jianing patted Mu Xiao's head and looked at Mushin. Mu Xiao liked it when Ban Jianing patted his head like this. He felt that he was being loved. Actually, he longed for his father's love. Mu Xiao smiled at Ban Jianing. Uncle, how do you plan to love me? I'll do whatever you want me to do. I want you to pick the stars from the sky for me. Wasn't this making things difficult? After having dinner in the hotel, Mu Xian saw that it was still early. It was only 6:30. She suggested walking around the neighborhood. She liked the environment here. Moreover, she had a habit of taking a walk after eating. But the manager said that there will be a typhoon tonight, Ban Jianing said. This weather doesn't seem like a typhoon, Mu Xin said. Ban Jianing laughed. Silly, don't you feel stuffy? This is the sign of a typhoon. In any case, when the wind rises, I'll come back. I'll just walk around nearby. Mu Xin said. Mu Xin, maybe it's my period. I'm actually carsick today. I won't accompany you for a walk. I'll go back and have a good sleep. Sister Mei looked at Mu Xin and said. Mu Xian smiled and looked at Ban Jianing, Fei Fei, and Big Sister Mei. You're all tired. Go back and rest. I'll take a walk outside. She was used to taking a walk after dinner. Mommy, don't you need me to accompany you? Mu Xiao asked. No need. Mommy won't go far. She's just nearby. That's good too. Otherwise, what if the typhoon blows me away? She would protect him, all right. Chapter 1388. After Mu Xian walked out of the hotel, she followed the street and kept walking forward. In front of her was a street known as Hot Street by the locals. There were snack shops on Hot Street that sold clothes and shoes made of linen produced by the people of Xinluo City. The standard of living in Xinluo City was not high a few years ago, but in recent years, after foreigners discovered the beautiful scenery and many local specialties, they liked to come here to play when they had time. It was also because foreigners came here to play that the standard of living here was raised. At this moment, there were many people on the street. They were all in pairs. It seemed that they were here to play together. Mu Xian walked alone on the street, looking a little lonely. Yes, she felt lonely. Because she didn't know how many couples passed by her. They were holding hands and hugging each other's waists. Sigh, they were very loving. Mu Xian walked into Hot Street and looked at the various snack shops on both sides of the road. She was a little hungry. No, she was very full just now. She endured and didn't buy food. She came to a clothing store. Her gaze was attracted by a retro dress. The linen quality of the dress looked simple and plain. When she saw the retro style of clothing, she couldn't help but think of Song Wuyo. Mu Xian walked into the clothing store and was attracted by the variety of clothes in the store. The clothing store was very big, and many customers were looking at clothes. Mu Xian walked in. There was a place inside that sold intimate clothes. She actually didn't want to buy clothes, but after seeing the underwear, she wanted to buy a few pieces, so she began to choose. She chose 2 pieces that she liked. However, the size wasn't suitable for her. She was looking for a size that was suitable for her. A young salesperson came to her side and smiled gently. Miss, what size would you like? As she spoke, the salesperson glanced at Mu Xian's chest and guessed that she was going to wear a big one. However, the customer still had the final say on how big she wanted it. D cup. The salesperson stared at Mu Xian's chest for a while and smiled. Miss, you can get a C cup, right? Mu Xian glanced at her chest and said with certainty, D cup. She had always been wearing D cup. She looked small because she was wearing a sweater that was considered loose. Moreover, she was tall and thin. The shop assistant didn't dare to refuse the customer's request. She smiled and said to Muaxayan, "Miss, please wait a moment. I'll help you find it. Are you sure you're wearing D and not B?" Ban Jianning's voice suddenly came from behind. Muaxayan was shocked and quickly turned to look at him. "Why are you here?" She looked behind him. Why didn't she see Mu Xiao? "Where are they?" "They're at the hotel." After the salesperson heard Ban Jianning's words, she raised her head and looked at Muaxayan. "Miss, do you want D or B?" The salesperson glanced at Muaxayan's xiong again. She felt that it looked more like a B than a B, D. Muaxayan's expression changed. Then, she glared at Ban Jianning. Whether she wore D or B, did he need to tell her? Ban Jianning's cold gaze landed on Mu Xinxiong. "It's not that big. Is it comfortable to wear such a big one?" She was already embarrassed when Ban Jianning saw her buying underwear. Now that she was being doubted by him, Muaxayan's face couldn't be any redder. In a fit of anger, she glared at Ban Jianning and said loudly, "How do you know I'm not that old? How many times have you touched it?" Everyone who heard her couldn't help but cast their gazes over. Feeling everyone's gazes, Muaxayan was so embarrassed that she wanted to dig a hole and hide in it. How embarrassing! Ban Jianning raised his hand and put it around Muaxayan's shoulder. He said to the salesperson, "Give me 2 D cups. My wife is less confident. She'll feel more comfortable wearing a big one." Chapter 1389. Muaxayan elbowed Ban Jianning's chest. "Let go of me. Who's your wife? Honey, stop fooling around. I'll buy you the diamond ring you want, okay?" Ban Jianning hugged Muaxayan tightly and smiled at everyone. When everyone heard Ban Jianning call Muaxayan his wife, they looked at them with normal eyes. So they were a couple. It was normal for a couple to quarrel. But, she didn't have such a big bra. Wearing such a big bra would be very uncomfortable. An auntie standing at the side came forward and said to Ban Jianning, "Your wife is not confident. It should be because you often say that she's small in front of her, or that other women are big. Such words are very hurtful. You'd better not say them in the future." The auntie saw that Ban Jianning was so handsome and had an extraordinary temperament. Then, she looked at Muaxayan with pity. Marrying a handsome husband might not be happy. Ban Jianning nodded. "Big sister is right. Actually, I've never said anything bad about her." The auntie looked at Muaxayan. "Little sister, women have to be confident. Confident women are beautiful. If a man says that you're small in front of you, you can say that he's not good at work." When Muaxayan heard that, her eyes widened and she looked at this big sister in surprise. Those words were awesome. Ban Jianning tilted his head and smiled at the angry Muaxayan. "Honey, did you hear that? Women have to be confident. I don't even despise you for being small, but you despise yourself. That's not good." Muaxayan was furious. She stomped her feet. "I'm not buying any more." Ban Jianning smiled. "All right, let's not buy any more underwear. Let's go buy a 5th anniversary commemorative diamond ring. Who's married to you for 5 years?" Muaxayan glared at Ban Jianning fiercely before striding away. The salesperson held on to the underwear and looked at their backs. She was a little envious of that woman for having such a handsome husband. Her husband seemed to be very tolerant of her and treated her well. He even gave her a diamond ring on their 5th anniversary. How blissful. Muaxayan walked out of the clothing store and walked along the street. After walking for about 5 meters, she suddenly stopped. Ban Jianning, who was following behind her, stopped as well. She turned around and glared at Ban Jianing. "You're despicable. Do you think I don't know if I want to wear D or B? You know better than me." Ban Jianing looked at her with interest. "I'm afraid that you're just puffing yourself up at your own cost. Don't many women these days have thick sponge pads? I don't rely on Hungary to make a living. Why should I puff myself up at my own cost? Besides, using a sponge wasn't puffing oneself up at your own cost, okay? I was going to wear a D anyway." Her waist was a little tight in a C, and a D was a little wider. Between tight and wide, for the sake of her health, of course she would choose D. She would never admit that she was puffing herself up at her own cost. Ban Jianing lowered his eyes and stared deeply at her breasts. He said softly, "It doesn't look like it. It's so small." When Mu Axian heard this, she was so angry that her face turned red. She was really so angry that her face turned red, not because she was shy. She glared at Ban Jianing angrily. "You're the little one. Your tools are short and your skills are weak." After she finished speaking, Mu Axian turned around and left with large strides. However, when she said that his tools were short and his skills were weak, she could not help but recall that night 5 years ago. She was tormented by him to the point that her entire body was about to fall apart and was aching all over. When she returned to the manor, she locked herself in her room and rested for 3 days before she could walk normally again. He wasn't short and his skills were weak. He was big and his skills were good. When she thought about that night, her face was abnormally red. Even her neck was flushed red. Under the light, her skin looked even more tender and translucent. Chapter 1390. Her pace was very fast, but Ban Jianing walked very gracefully and was able to follow closely behind her. Seeing her hurried pace as if she wanted to escape, Ban Jianing could not help but laugh. "Mu Axian, how do you know that I'm weak? You can't say this carelessly. Actually, I'm very strong." He looked at her back and smiled. "Ban Jianing, we're on the street now. Can we not talk about this topic? It won't be good if others hear it." Mu Axian exploded. "Alright, this topic is indeed not suitable to be talked about on the street. In a while, let's go back to the hotel and talk." Ban Jianing liked to see her explode. Mu Axian exploded even more, and her face turned even redder. She did not know if her face was red because of his words or because she was angry. However, the result was the same. She was very angry. She stopped abruptly and turned around. Ban Jianing could react, but he deliberately could not stop and even sped up, bumping into her. His sturdy chest was hit by Mu Axian's forehead and even hit her nose. Mu Axian instantly felt pain on her nose. She did not care about the pain. Shocked, she subconsciously retreated. And someone happened to come over from behind her. After Ban Jianing shouted, "Be careful," he stretched out his long arm and hugged her waist. She pulled him into her embrace and then turned around, avoiding the person who came over. Ban Jianing did it on purpose. He deliberately hugged her tightly. The two bodies were inseparable. The combination of hardness and softness gave Ban Jianing a strange feeling. His heart felt as if it had been hit by a little deer. His gaze suddenly became incomparably deep. He lowered his head and looked at the woman who was looking up at him in shock. The woman's face was fair and rosy. Her expression was like a frightened little wild cat. Ban Jianing's heart suddenly palpitated. At this moment, he suddenly had the thought of wanting to protect her well. Mu Axian's brain short-circuited for a moment. She did not know that she would be hugged tightly by Ban Jianing. She looked at him in shock. She wanted to push him away, but when she saw the look in his eyes, she was stunned. His gaze was like a magical whirlpool that could easily suck her heart in and make her unable to extricate herself. Moreover, looking at him so close, she felt that he was very handsome. He was like a god, a perfect god, a god that could move her heart. Every woman had a young girl's heart, and Mu Axayan was no exception. How could she not blush and her heart race when the man she liked suddenly hugged her? The man she liked. Mu Xin was shocked by this thought. Was she admitting that she liked Ban Jianing? Mu Axayan came back to her senses in a daze and looked at Ban Jianing faintly. This man, why is it that the more I look at him, the more perfect he looks, the more flawless his appearance is? Ban Jianing saw that her face was rosy, and he seemed to have seen something in her eyes. He smiled knowingly, then let go of her and said softly, "There are many people on the street, be careful." His words made Mu Axayan's mind suddenly clear. She couldn't like him. He already had a woman he liked. Thinking that he had a woman he liked, Mu Axayan's heart was filled with bitterness. She turned this bitterness into grievance and anger, glaring angrily at Ban Jianing. "It's all your fault." She had always been very calm, but because of him, she had lost her composure on the streets. He already has someone he likes, and he is still flirting with her in front of them. What's the point? Mu Axayan classified this flirting as teasing. Her heart was fiercely clenched. Chapter 1391. With a hint of hatred in her eyes, she glared at Ban Jianing coldly. Then, she turned around and walked forward without a destination. Ban Jianing was slightly stunned. He narrowed his eyes and looked at her back view. He saw hatred in her eyes just now. Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows and pursed his thin lips. She hated him. Ban Jianing followed and walked side by side with her. Seeing him coming up, Mu Axayan quickened her steps. However, no matter how fast she walked, she couldn't be faster than Ban Jianing. His legs were long. "I heard that the spicy noodles in Xinluo are very delicious. Do you want to try?" Ban Jianing asked. "I'm not hungry." She had just eaten at the hotel. Moreover, she was full from anger. Why would she eat spicy noodles? She only wanted to bite him now. "Let's go, I want to eat." Ban Jianing opened his 5 fingers, held her small hand, and pulled her away. Mu Axayan struggled. "Ban Jianing, that's enough. I don't want to eat." Ban Jianing was indifferent to her struggle. He had no intention of letting go of her at all. "I want to eat." "If you want to eat, you can eat by yourself." "I don't want to eat." "I want you to eat with me." "I don't want to." She was angry when she saw him. "Be good. If you don't be good, I'll kiss you in front of them." Ban Jianing tilted his head and curled his lips seductively. "Are you afraid?" When Mu Axayan heard this, she blushed. However, when she thought that he was teasing her, her eyes turned red. She swept her gaze around the area. There were quite a lot of people walking back and forth on the street. If he kissed her like this, they would definitely stop in their tracks and look at her as if she was an animal in the zoo. Of course, Mu Axayan didn't want Ban Jianing to tease her in public. She could only give in and let him pull her away. They arrived at a spicy noodle shop. There were many customers in the shop. The shop was very big and the decorations were not bad. Ban Jianing found a seat in the shop. He and Mu Axayan sat opposite each other. Mu Axayan kept her head down from the moment she sat down. She didn't want to look at the man who made her angry. Ban Jianing ordered 2 spicy noodles. Actually, he didn't want to eat spicy noodles. He just wanted to find a place to sit alone with her. Other than ma xiao, there are other snacks in this shop. Do you want to take a look at the menu? Ban Jianing asked. Mu Axian shook her head. She looked like a deflated balloon, listless. I don't want to eat anything. You can order whatever you like. Ban Jianing felt that something was wrong with her. He put one hand on the back of the chair and tapped the table with the other. He looked at Mu Axian. What's wrong? Are you unhappy being with me? He still remembered the look in her eyes when she looked at him just now. It was filled with hatred. Mu Xin suddenly raised her head. Ban Jianing was startled and sat up straight. He raised his eyebrows and looked at Mu Axian with bright eyes. Are you crying? Mu Xin wanted to cry, but she held back her tears. Her eyes reddened as she looked at Ban Jianing. Are you happy to tease me like this? You think I'm teasing you? Ban Jianing raised his eyebrows even more. Saying that I'm your wife in front of them, isn't that just teasing me? Mu Axian, why don't you think in a positive direction? He really hoped that she could become his wife one day. Mu Axian smiled bitterly. Think in a positive direction. How do you want me to think in a positive direction? You already have someone you like. Is there any meaning in teasing me like this? Ban Jianing looked at her with a faint smile. I'm not. Mu Axian's phone suddenly rang, interrupting Ban Jianing's words. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.